Huh? Huh? What? Oh, it's you. Man, I was trying to sleep. What do you need? Why am I sleeping? Wasn't it obvious? I'm AFK farming echoes. How do you AFK farm echoes? Get a load of this guy. Well, if you don't know, I guess I must inform you. Alright, what's good? It's Worm. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can AFK farm echoes. And the way you do it may actually not be all that shocking. But funny enough, to AFK farm echoes, there's normally a few main methods that you can do. For starters, for a bunch of people, they like to just do a bunch of W rank runs over and over again, which to be honest, I am not insane enough to do that. Secondly, you can use my echo farm method that I actually made a couple months ago. This is a little bit outdated, but it still works nonetheless. Third, you could do a funny new method that actually came up recently, being at Miner's Landing. What you do is you spawn at Miner's Landing, get an enchant stone, enchant your weapon, get oathless, then wipe. This will actually net you a ton of echoes, and it's a pretty good manual method. But then again, you're going to need enchant stone to do it efficiently. And at that point, why even just get oathless over and over again? That's going to suck. But that's why I'm here. So without further ado, let's get on to this macro. So in today's video, I'm actually going to explain everything you need to know about the macro so you actually won't have any problems when starting it. As last macro I made, a lot of people were having a lot of issues, so I'm going to state them all in this video so nobody needs to be asking any question. So what is this macro, you might be asking? Well, this macro is actually pretty simple. Like I said earlier, you can spawn at Miner's Landing, grab oathless, and then wipe. It won't get you a lot of echoes, but it will still get you some, which is all we really need. So in this macro, it will get you oathless, wipe you, go to fragments, and then restart the whole thing over and over again. But as I just stated earlier, there could be a couple issues with that, so I'm actually going to explain everything. So first, before we start anything, I'm actually going to explain how you set up the macro. So let's start. To run this macro on a completely new account, you're only going to need 3 things. First, you must unlock Miner's Landing Origin. This is pretty simple, as you can either start the Arc Order quest in Layer 2, and that will give you the Miner's Landing Origin, but that's a little bit hard for a lot of new people, so then there's another method. By going to the person at Miner's Landing and talking to them, you'll get a quest. By completing this quest, you will be able to go back to them and get the Miner's Landing Origin. To do this quest, it does say you need to kill Summer Goons, but that is wrong. What you need to do is you need to go up to this room, kill this Mecha Sharko, and then go back down. I don't know why they still haven't fixed it, but it has been an issue for a bit, so if you're having any issues getting the Origin, just go kill this Sharko, talk to the person, and you'll be good. After that, you'll need to go get Oathless, which Oathless is actually pretty simple to get. First, what you must do is you must talk to this guy in the log at Miner's Landing. Then what you must do is you must talk to his 3 disciples all around the map. One is actually right here at Miner's Landing where I'm actually recording this. They are right here. You'll talk to them. If you actually are doing the quest, they'll give you the thing, and then you go talk to the next 2. The next 2 are at Fort Merritt, and the next one is at Meteor Isle. Once you talk to all 3 of them, you could go back to the dude in the log, and then he'll give you Oathless. This will need to be done on a separate account, as if you have an oath fully maxed out on a certain account, you will be able to get it pretty easily on a new account. Last thing you need to do to have this macro work is you need a Feelnor slot. But with that, once you have all those 3, you will be ready to start. So to set up the macro, there's a few things you will need to do with your settings beforehand. First things first, take the account that you're going to be farming echoes on and pin it so it's the first slot in your top left. Next, set your Roblox sensitivity to 0.36. Once you set to 0.36, after that, you need to go into the character creator once you're actually creating your character. Then what you must do is you must go to your attributes, invest all your points into agility, and once you have invested all your points into agility, that's it. Invest the rest into something else so the prompt doesn't pop up, and you're good to run the macro. One thing I almost forgot to mention, to make sure the logging part of the macro works correctly, when you press escape, L, and enter, your screen must end up like this. You could do this by simply leaving the game, and then going to your played games, and then pressing Deepwoken. It will pop up a menu like this. As long as you can see this little green button on screen, it will work and it will allow you to rejoin the game. It will work as long as this is the only button on screen, so if you have this on screen somewhere, some way, it will work perfectly and you will be good. Now, I know this macro might not be working for the rest of you, so I'm actually going to explain some little settings that you might want to change on your computer and such, so it will work perfectly. First and most important thing I'm going to reiterate, make sure your Roblox sensitivity is set to 0.36. Right here, make sure this number is 0.36 and you will be perfect. After that, make sure you are on max quality and you do not have low graphics mode on. That's all you should need to do, and you can also make sure that your Roblox is of course full screened, so you only see Roblox and nothing else. That's all your basic settings. If it's still not working, it's going to be a computer setting, and here's where I can still help. Make sure that your display that you're playing on is set to 1920 by 1080 resolution. This is very important as this is how the macro works, as depending on what your resolution is, it will click at different points. I'll actually explain how the macro works really quickly. So let's say we start the macro, right? And it says, oh, we're going to move our mouse to the coordinates 115 to 115. On a 1920 resolution monitor, that might be somewhere up here. But if you're on a different monitor, that may be somewhere over here. So that's going to mess it up. So you need to make sure you're on 1920 by 1080 resolution. Once you've done that, you need to make sure you're also at 100% scale on your monitor. If you're not, that can also mess it up too. So make sure that's changed. Make sure again that your slot is in the top left, and if you want to put a blank slot next to it, so just in case the macro messes up for some reason, it's not going to be clicking on an important slot. Again, make sure all your graphics are set to max so the computer doesn't have a hard time reading your screen. But with that, that's pretty much it. That should realistically be all you need to have this farm running, but if you're still having issues, that's most likely something with your computer that I won't be able to fix. So I wish you the best of luck with fixing that. But with that, here's a full run real quick, just so you guys can see that this does truly work. But with that, I hope you guys take this in, and I hope you enjoy this macro. But with that, I hope you all have a great day.